One just sort of random difference I noticed between Disneyland Paris and here are the guests. Let me try to think of a nice way to say this. Welcome to PortAventura, to Hotel El Paso. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it was like to be there. We've been here at PortAventura for 2 days, and I want to show you around the hotel today, give you a little bit of advice, and if you're planning a trip to PortAventura, stick around to the end because I have some general tips that might help you out as well. PortAventura has a handful of hotels that are on site. This is the Hotel El Paso. Of the hotels that do not have their own entrance to the park, this is the closest, and the building I'm showing you right now is where the lobby is. Many rooms as well, and just across from that are 2 more buildings, and this is the building where our room is through that door. By the way, those are my glasses back there. Don't worry, nobody lost them. Just remind me to take them with me when I leave. The Hotel El Paso is considered 4 stars, and I guess, I don't know, 4 stars compared to what? I think it's all kind of relative. Let's go take a look inside the room, and after that, I'll tell you some more about this resort and about PortAventura. You can see from this first impression that the room is very dark. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. The sun is shining as it does here in Spain. I have all the lights on in the room, and it doesn't get brighter than this inside here. So that's just something to know. And I mean, it has been really hot and really sunny, so it's not necessarily like a huge detractor, but many of the rooms here at the resort have balconies, so you can go outside and get some fresh air and have a little bit of a view and definitely get some sunlight into the room. This room here on the bottom floor of the building does not. We have a little terrace, and I'll show you that right now. This is probably the last room that they rent out. They probably get rid of every other room before this one just because it's like dark. I mean, this is our little terrace, our backyard. From space, it's bigger than the balconies. It's probably 2 times as big as the balconies, and the balconies don't have chairs on them either, but at the same time, I mean, this is our view. And like I said, we get 0 sunlight in here. You can see the rooms above us there. They have their balconies, which are much smaller than the terraces, but I mean, check out this room next to us. That's what they get. And this is our room then from the outside. I mean, there's no hanging up towels out here to dry, no hanging up sweaty clothes or anything. They're not gonna get dry out here. So I guess when you're booking your room, if you can make a request for a room with a balcony or a room like a sunny room, if that's important to you, because you might end up in a room like that. The room does have air conditioning and heating, and it worked very well, and it wasn't very loud. So if you're worried about the fan sounds disturbing you, then don't worry. If you love to have the fan sounds, then worry. No USB ports next to the bed, but there are outlets on both sides of the main bed, and I think that needs to be done in every hotel nowadays. This is so important for people. The only other outlets in the room, however, are 2 behind the table there in the corner, and 1 is for that lamp, and in the bathroom. So if you do come here with a lot of devices or maybe a couple kids or whatever, you might want to bring a small extension cord to make sure you have enough outlets. We've stayed here for 2 days. I think I said that already, and yeah, there's definitely enough space for us. We're just kind of passing through here. This isn't the main destination of our trip, so we didn't really unpack anything. Oh, look at these signs of wear and tear here. This door used to be purple. But even if we were staying here longer, I'm sure the space would have been completely adequate for us. Ooh, squeaky door. Let's take a look at the bathroom. The bathroom door is Morgan approved. It is a real door made out of wood. It's not see-through. There are no big openings at the top or bottom. I like to have my privacy while I'm on the toilet, and this is a Morgan approved bathroom door. And when I show you inside the bathroom, as soon as I turn on the light, the fan is gonna go on, so it's gonna be loud. Here we go. As far as space goes in the bathroom, it's actually very spacious, but there are better layouts for bathrooms like this because this is all one room, and at other resorts I've stayed in, the sink area has been outside of the bathroom, which helps when you've got more people getting ready at one time. It makes it just a little bit easier. Not everybody has to be in the same room where the toilet and shower are, you know what I mean? Here's something interesting that happened to us here. The soap situation is like this. There are these bottles, and actually this is supposed to be in there, but we ripped it out of there. There's two here in the shower as well, and they're mounted to the wall, and we only got one pump. So we have to take that pump out and screw it into the other bottles if we want to use one of the other bottles. Isn't that weird? And that's why we ripped that one off of the wall, so we had some soap here to wash our hands, and we put the pump in the one in the shower. If this was our main holiday and we were staying here longer, I definitely would have talked to the front desk about that, but this is just sort of a stop along the way, and I didn't really have time or want to use the energy to complain about it, so we just did this like we did it. Another piece of advice I can give you is book the breakfast. We only paid 10 euros more per day for it, and it is an amazing selection. I was thinking it's gonna be just coffee and a croissant, but it's like a full-on breakfast buffet. And there really isn't any other place around here to get breakfast, so it's kind of your only option, but for being the only option and for it being so affordable, it was a really fantastic way to start the day. All right, I'm gonna get to the tips now about visiting PortAventura all together, but I'm gonna do it right after this short commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below. PortAventura is a huge, beautiful theme park about an hour south of Barcelona. You can take the train here. You can also just rent a car and drive here. We decided to rent a car this time. Getting here was really easy. If you have some kind of navigation in your car, you're basically on the same road almost the whole way anyways, and then you follow the signs to PortAventura. We arrived on a Thursday evening and drove straight through with no traffic. I don't know what it's like on other days of the week, but we had no problems getting here, and all of the PortAventura hotels have parking included in the price. Don't have that at Disney World in Florida. Tickets were included in the price of the hotel, and we stayed here for 2 nights, got 3 days of tickets plus 1 day ticket to this Ferrari Land, which is like a mini theme park right next to PortAventura. I'm not quite sure why they say it's a full extra theme park, because it's more like a land and not a park. But anyways, entrance to those places was included in the price of the room, and this is what we paid at the end of September. So you can see it's also way more affordable than a visit to Disneyland Paris. I would say the quality of the hotel here is probably about the same as the mid-level hotels at Disneyland Paris. And as far as just the whole experience goes, there are way more thrill rides here, of course. PortAventura is like a roller coaster capital. They have some of the tallest and fastest roller coasters in the world, as well as Sesame Street Land and water rides and a big water park, a lot of great shows. And during the main season, they have this huge nighttime spectacular, which is a great way to end the night around the big lagoon in the park. Like I said, it's the end of September. We spent 2 days in the parks. The longest wait we had was maybe like 1 hour and 10 minutes for the Red Force, the really big ride at Ferrari Land. I think the second longest wait we did was for the Sesame Street ride, which was really cool, by the way. And otherwise, we've been waiting like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, which, you know, I think that's fine. The park's open from 10 in the morning until 11 in the evening, so there's plenty of time to see everything and do everything. One just sort of random difference I noticed between Disneyland Paris and here are the guests. Let me try to think of a nice way to say this. The last time we spent a couple days at Disneyland Paris, I noticed, especially on the weekends, that there's a lot of people who show up at Disneyland Paris who, let's just say, don't know how to act. Line jumpers, being loud and sassy, just being altogether annoying and not fun to be around. I didn't notice really any of that happening at PortAventura over the last 2 days. However, there were a lot of people smoking in the queues. So if you are absolutely against smoking, if you don't like smoke, whatever, just you're gonna need to prepare for that because there were people smoking basically in every queue. And even though staying here at Hotel El Paso and the other hotel just down the road from here does not include any kind of early entry to the parks, you still can be one of the first people in the parks, and it's definitely worth it if you're coming during the high season because I'm sure the lines get really long and the really popular rides, you're going to be waiting an hour, maybe an hour and a half sometimes if you don't pay the extra money for the express pass. And by getting there, being really one of the first people in the park in the morning, you can at least skip 1 or 2 lines just because the people aren't in the park yet, and it's really worth doing. And staying at this hotel does make it easier because you don't have to get up, get in the car and drive here. You just have to get up, go to breakfast, and then walk around the corner, up the street, and you're there. Another thing I want to tell you about visiting PortAventura, and then I'm pretty much done, I think, is the park has an app, just like Disneyland has an app. Many theme parks have an app right now, and there are wait times shown in the app, and the wait times are wrong. Do not trust the wait times in the app. They were never right. There were times when it said the wait time for a certain ride was 15 minutes and we were literally standing in front of the queue for the ride, and the actual wait time was 60 minutes. So need to work on that, PortAventura. Other than that, we had a fantastic time. This is a really beautiful place to come. It's a nice alternative to Disneyland Paris. And of course, one huge advantage here over Disneyland Paris is the ocean is just down the street and there's no rude, sassy French people. If you're a fan of traveling and fun traveling stories about things going right and wrong while traveling, then if you want to give me a little extra support, you can check out my book called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's available on Amazon right now. And if you're planning a trip to PortAventura and have any more questions or concerns, write them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you. We're on our way up to Barcelona now, staying 1 night in the city, and tomorrow we're boarding the Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. So those videos will be coming up here as well on the very unofficial travel guides. Make sure you're subscribed to get those updates, and I will see you soon. Adios. And I remembered to take my glasses.